I can go ahead and the recording has begun. Remember to face mute if you are not comfortable with that. Welcome back. 2024. Happy New Year to all. This is the first Interledger Foundation community call of the brand new year. Everyone's got that new year vibe, all those things you want to accomplish. Go ahead and sign up on the notes doc, roll call, your name, something you're looking forward to, something you're excited about, something that's got you motivated for 2024, and we will hopefully get this kicked off in a positive way. We got some internal updates as we're going to go through our regular update agenda. Then just to give you a quick look, we're going to go a little bit deeper on a new feature in Rafiki. So that'll be coming up in the Rafiki update. And then we're going to be handing the virtual talking stick to our friend Uchi from Chimoney, who's going to do our deep dive on where Chimoney is and where they're going. Lots of exciting stuff in that. So that's the basic overview of our time together today. So I believe I am actually kicking this off with some ILF updates. Alex, I saw you log in. I'm going to let you finish up with the Webmonetization Workweek preview, and I'll just give the other updates real quick in that we are reviewing a bunch of the grants that we got in towards the end of the year. So we're working through those. We should hope to have decisions on that in the coming weeks. We also are working on what grants will be released and some look at timelines, et cetera, for the year coming up. I can say that we'll be rebooting the financial services and ambassadors in a very similar way to which they have already existed, as well as some new things and new initiatives in the year. So that's one quick ILF update. Obviously, a lot of our work here as we kind of come back online is gearing up for the year, planning, helping to communicate where it is we're going, where we need help with, what community engagement opportunities there are. So that's the other big area where we kind of update here in the first 7 or 8 days of the year. And then I'm going to kick it over to Alex out there in the ether just to give a quick sneak peek at our web monetization work week, which will help to sort of set the agenda for web monetization early in the year. Alex, you are out there, correct?
Yes, thank you. So if you weren't at the summit, if you haven't heard anything from the summit, you missed out on a sneak peek preview of Webmonetization at the hackathon. We've had an alpha version that I'm proud to say worked good enough so that a bunch of people could hack with Webmonetization again. We are trying to put that out into the hands of people this year, make Webmonetization a reality again. We're working with GitHub and Fynbos to launch with them sometime in the first half of the year. And the reason why we're going to South Africa, everybody who's working on Webmonetization, the team at Interledger, the team at Breakpoint, the ambassadors, the team on the browser extension, and Fynbos, we're actually going to be there to all put the finishing touches on the version 1 roadmap for the extension. We have designs we're implementing right now in the extension. We have a new user experience we're working with, and we're going to be there at the end of this month, beginning of next month, 28th of January to the 3rd of February, to put the polishing touches on Webmonetization. Hopefully, we will have something ready for present and past grantees and people from our community in a closed beta loop by March. And I think that was the sneak peek preview of Webmonetization.
All right. Alex, ILF, Webmonetization coming out hot in the new year. I know a lot of people were hoping for some more concrete information and advancement on that. So that to us feels like a real kind of stick your foot in the ground and move forward. So that's exciting new year energy. I will open up the, if anyone's got chat or just open up your mic questions for Alex before we move on from there. I will take a quick pause. All right. And, you know, that really was that work is about to begin. So more updates, more concrete ways to play, test, learn, contribute, etc., will be coming out of that. One quick note that Alex mentioned, an ambassador. That ambassador is Santosh, who I know has been working on a lot of open source community connections as well as web monetization directly. So that's, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from him in various ways coming out of that. All right. I think Adrian is on. Am I wrong or right? That'd be a good.
You are right.
There you go, Adrian. Take over.
Hey. So not a lot to report from the Fynbos side. It's summer break here in the global south, so a lot of the team were on holiday until this week. We've been wrapping up integrations to some new partners in the US, enable some cool new stuff, and we should have everything ready for the work week to kick off when everybody arrives here in a couple of weeks. We've spent the last day or two doing a lot of strategy sessions and discussions around product roadmap and so on. So yeah, mostly from our side, it's currently about prep for web monetization work week, and working with the ILF team on that when they are in Cape Town, and then we'll see where things go post that.
Awesome. Thanks, Adrian. So some fast and furious updates, probably in the next couple Interledger community calls coming out of that. So good stuff. I love teeing up the new year. And then Sabine, I think you were going to start us off with Rafiki and then hand off.
To have enough time for all the other things that we want to go through, I put my general update down as a written form. So I'll just hand over to Benny to talk about the telemetry feature. Benny, you are still muted.
Yeah, do you think you'll need to open your mic?
Yeah, my
There you go.
my bad. Okay, so hi everyone. Hope you can see my slides, right? Okay. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Benny, and I'm a software engineer that worked on Rafiki telemetry along with Sarah, and that is what I will be presenting today. The agenda has two major parts. First of all, I'd like to overview the why, the what, and the how of Rafiki's telemetry solution. And on a separate note, I will explain how privacy concerns are tackled and use this opportunity basically to mobilize the community into criticizing it and hopefully gathering some expert opinions on it. But I will talk more about that once we get there. So starting with the why, I want us to take a moment to appreciate the fundamental role of feedback. It guides us, providing insights into how our systems are performing. You can think of it as a conversation that we have with our technology, ensuring that it's on the right track, and more importantly, that we are on the right track. And before moving on, I will further emphasize its importance through another engineering field, which is systems engineering. I can safely say that within systems engineering, the most fundamental and necessary concept is the use of a feedback loop for system analysis and design. These loops, often referred to as loop shaping, enable engineers to assess and refine a system's performance and behavior, or in the case of automatic control, even allow the system to adapt on its own in a robust way. And I would encourage you to further explore the engineering implementations of this basic feedback concept. But now let's move on to what brings us here, which is telemetry and how it closes the feedback loop for software systems. It is a mechanism that allows us to gather on various metrics, understand the system's behavior, and iteratively shape and enhance its performance by enabling informed operational decisions and adjustments. So all of that mouthful should make telemetry more like a requirement than a nice to have in any performance system. So I think that answers the why question, and we can move on to the what, which is what exactly are we collecting? Well,
The main goal of what we collect is to track the ILP network growth. We knew that this is going to be a big feature that we can keep building on top of in the future. But in order to get a starting point, especially since it requires a bit of infrastructure being set up, the Cluj Workweek discussions last year ended up with a few key metrics as our first objective. And these are the total money that flows through the network, the number of successful transactions, and the average amount that transactions hold within the network. Now that we know what we want to collect, let's explore how we do it. First of all, we chose OpenTelemetry, which is an observability framework that brings something important to the table, and that is standardization. By instrumenting Rafiki with the OpenTelemetry SDK, we are using its standardized format for metrics, ensuring that our telemetry data is accessible and usable across a variety of tool suites. And now, how exactly are we using it? In order to explain that, I'm going to pick up the laser pointer and use this diagram to showcase the flow of data and overview of the telemetry infrastructure. So at the bottom here, we have a Rafiki instance that is part of the network that we want to track. It is sending data to a cluster of OpenTelemetry collectors that we are hosting on AWS ECS in a serverless manner. The collectors then process data and further send it upstream to a Prometheus, which is the main collection point and is actually where the data is persisted for a given amount of time. Then Prometheus is used as a data source for a Grafana cloud instance, which allows for visualization, actually exposing the dashboards to the public so that everyone can see the network's growth. Other important notes to make here using this diagram is the fact that Rafiki is instrumented to send the metrics to multiple OpenTelemetry collectors. This allows integrating account servicing entities to have their own optional OpenTelemetry collector, and they would just feed the collection endpoint to Rafiki, and Rafiki would start sending the data that way as well. So they can build their own telemetry solution on it. Now let's shift our focus to a critical aspect of the telemetry feature, which was privacy. This ended up being quite a hassle, but even though the privacy details are non-trivial, the concepts behind it are simple enough to illustrate through this diagram, which I hope, or at least I hope so. We can see here a single Rafiki instance that is serving multiple users. When collecting transaction metrics, it is sanitizing anything that is able to identify a single user. As such, it is already hard for telemetry metrics to trace back to individuals. And furthermore, in order to apply privacy at the Rafiki instance level, we apply two techniques. First, it's rounding and bucketing. We see that user 1 has a transaction of $24 and user 2 of $32. We only have two buckets that we can round them to, one for 25 and one for 50. By rounding, user 1 and user 2 both end up in the same 25 bucket, and user 3 and 4 both end up in the same 50 bucket. In this way, we are disregarding the user's real value of the transaction, and we can see instead of 24 and 32, for example, we will just consider the 25 amount as their transaction. And by doing this, of course, we are losing some accuracy, but we are ensuring that the two users are now indistinguishable from each other. And then we can also control the granularity of the buckets here, and as such, control the balance between privacy and utility of the data we collect. The second technique applied is differential privacy, where we use Laplacian distribution to generate noise. This particular distribution is usually used in differential privacy because of some of its mathematical properties that I'm not going to detail now, but I wrote about them in the docs. Now, taking into consideration that this whole privacy process is done at the collection time in the instrumented Rafiki, we are implementing what the industry calls as local differential privacy, which is a strong privacy guarantee. That basically means that every privacy enforcement is done here at the collection time before data ever reaches any collection endpoint. Back to this slide, another important thing to note is the fact that in our case, currency conversion also adds as a noise factor and as such as another privacy layer. That is because the whole telemetry feature has a single base currency, which is now set to be USD. This is also in order to tackle another privacy concern that I won't go into detail now, but it's also in the docs. And in order to convert any currency of transactions to the telemetry base currency, we use the rates that the integrating account servicing entity provides. These are not versioned or stored, and because our telemetry solution cannot access its data, this just acts as another privacy layer. Now, in the case in which the account servicing entity does not provide external rates for the currency conversion, we go even further and use an external exchange rates API that our infrastructure exposes. As you can see here, we have an AWS Lambda function that queries an external endpoint exchange rates API and stores the data in our required format in a public S3 bucket. That case is covered as well. And another important note to make regarding privacy is that we collect amount data at ILP packet level right now in the connector itself. Since multiple packets can form a single transaction, this means that not even amounts can be traced back to their respective transaction. And with that being said, I know this was in a rush, but I hope I provided a good overview of what privacy meant for us. The solution is a mix of techniques that are present in state-of-the-art literature, mostly in white papers released by Google, Microsoft, and Apple, and all of these are referenced in the privacy documentation as well. And now, circling back to the main idea of the presentation, which is feedback, I also want to collect feedback from this meeting, and I encourage you to go through the privacy documentation in particular. It is an actual goal of this meeting to have people critically inspect the privacy solution and actively come up with solutions. So please do so. I am reachable on Slack, or you can reach Sarah of any one of us to that matter. And for further reference, I will, of course, provide the links to the docs on both privacy and telemetry in the chat. Thank you for your time.
Awesome. Thank you, Benny. That was a great walkthrough. I actually loved your slides. We have one, I'll read one Adam question, and then if someone's got a question they want to open the mic for, just line up behind me. But Benny, are there country regulations that require Rafiki to provide telemetry, or is that not really a thing?
What was that? Country regulations?
No, country regulations, that's not really a thing. That is why we're sanitizing the data. That's why we're sanitizing the data, so we don't break the personally identifiable information. The reason we want to monitor the network is we want to grow the network, and to see if we can grow the network, we have to have some kinds of monitoring in place. But there's no country regulation that requires us to have telemetry. There is a lot of country regulations that very specifically prohibits us from collecting certain data, and that's what our privacy mindset is about. Trying not to break user privacy and trying not to have service integrators or account servicing entities have to get user consent first to collect data.
So and I think, it also aligns with our values, right? We don't want to expose users. And we also want to pre-think these things rather than retrofit once we start hitting regulatory bodies and not just regulatory bodies, but also good practices, good data practices and stuff. So we're trying to be thoughtful and privacy centric at the beginning as a core value and as what we think is a smart way to build, rather than, miss those opportunities and then be told later we need to fix. Because I think
To be honest, I feel like Benny and Sarah spent most of their time dealing with privacy concerns than actually working on building the pipelines for this to work. I feel like the tech part was the easy thing we did, and the privacy concerns, the building for the privacy concerns, and picking very specific data points within our architecture to make sure it's impossible to leak PII, or it's impossible to use this data for any sort of market making or bank manipulation sort of thing. That was the hardest part we had to do. And I'm like, Benny and Sarah worked on this for the past 4 months. It was an incredibly tricky project. I'm really, really happy we managed to get this done.
Awesome. Well, unless someone wants to interrupt me and ask another question, these are some chunky updates coming into 2024. Love it. And another good, we're going to go on to our deep dive, which I know he's out there. Chimoney, he's gonna, did a little bit of a preview, in our last community call in December. And then we're going to go deeper on kind of really the exciting progress that Chimoney has made in the ecosystem to be really one of the leaders. So Uchi, if you are out there, which I know you are, go ahead and take over the mic, activate your camera, and share your slides.
Amazing. Yeah, thank you so much, Chris. Hi, everyone. Happy New Year. Hope everyone is having a good day. So I'm going to share my screen and walk us through what we've been up to at Chimoney. Specifically, we're going to look at Interledger integration, and we're going to conclude with how other developers can integrate with Chimoney's wallet as a service, which is already ILP enabled. So I'll share my screen. Okay, yeah, so let me go back to the other screen. Awesome. So for today's session, we're going to first maybe start with a brief overview of why Chimoney exists. So, I mean, if you've ever tried to send payment internationally, it feels like when you are trying to watch TV, needing a different remote for every TV channel, right? For every country you want to pay out to, or for every payment method, you probably would need a different platform or a different provider to make that happen. And there's high fees, there's limited reach, and also slow transactions. And that's why Chimoney exists. So Chimoney is a platform, as most of you know, that allows you to send payments to anyone in the world using just their phone number or email. And then receivers can cash out to their bank accounts, to gift cards, to mobile wallets, and things like that. And just an overview of how Chimoney is different from other providers. There's Payoneer, there's Coinbase, Bakkt, Wise, and the rest of them. So how Chimoney is different is that Chimoney integrates these multiple cash out or payment options, and brings them together in one platform. And we're really happy that we're able to also support Interledger in this ecosystem or network of payment networks that we're building. Okay, so let's now just jump into how it actually works and how Interledger fits into what we've built at Chimoney. And this will set the foundation for us to do a demo and go from there. So Chimoney itself, how it works is we have a couple of services. And all of these services are modular, they're portable, and they're stackable. So we can remove a new service or add, we can remove a service or add a new service depending on regulations, depending on user requirements and things like that. And today, we allow cash out or payouts to mobile money like M-Pesa in Kenya, and also bank accounts in over 100 countries. There's going to be an announcement coming out tomorrow about a new integration we just did. And also we allow cash out to gift cards and also Interledger wallets. So I will show how that Interledger wallet integration works in a bit. And also for payings, so that means on-ramping to Chimoney wallets, you can fund your Chimoney wallet from bank accounts via wire or ACH. You can send fund your Chimoney wallet via crypto and also via Interledger. So we're going to talk about it in a bit, how it works, and also what we see, the vision we have for the future of being able to fund Chimoney wallet from other licensed entities within the Interledger ecosystem. So that's kind of the first part of Chimoney, the different services, the on-ramp and the off-ramp services. And then all of these services are exposed to clients or apps through our API. So our API documentation, I will share the link later for folks to check out. But the API documentation allows us to build apps like the Chimoney payouts features, the Chimoney payout product. So this Chimoney payout product is used by companies like Google, by Goodwall, and a few other companies. And what it does for them is that it allows them to pay anyone in the world using just their phone number or email. And also we have a product called Unispend, also powered by this Chimoney's infrastructure. What's even more exciting is what other people are building in the community with Chimoney's API. We'll talk about all of those in a bit. Okay, and then for coverage, as we mentioned, we support bank accounts, mobile money, and also Interledger, which I know most people are interested in. So I'm going to do a deep dive on how the Interledger integration works and also how you can use it today. Okay, so let's now do like a quick demo. So for the demo, for some of it, I'm going to maybe ask a few people to share their Interledger, their Chimoney Interledger wallet for those that have, and then I'll do a retransfer to that wallet, which should settle in their Chimoney account. Okay, so moving on to the demo, there are a couple of things we're going to do. The first one is we're going to do a mass payout to Interledger wallet addresses. So this is very useful in cases where you want to send payments like grant payments, reward payments, and things like that. So imagine like the ILP grant and other grants within the community being funded or being sent to Interledger wallet addresses or Interledger payment pointers instead of bank accounts, and then giving the grant recipients the flexibility to cash out that grant amount to their local currency or to their local bank account. It's a win-win for, I mean, the funding entity, because they just have to use one click to pay everyone. And then for the beneficiaries, it's also easy for them because they have the flexibility to select how they want to receive that fund. I'll show how we can do that in a bit. And then the second demo we're going to be doing is transferring money to an Interledger wallet address or payment pointer using the API. So this is where I would get like someone from the call to share their wallet address, and then I'll send a payment to them. Then last one is just how to integrate. Okay, let's move on to the first one. So I'm going to go to the Chimoney dashboard. I will click send payment now, and then I'll copy a few payment pointers I already prepared, and I'll send the payment. And I think you should see the payment start going out in real time. Okay, so I'm already logged into this dashboard here, and notice that I have my payment pointer, which is ilp.chimoney.com/uchi, and so that's the first one that I'm going to send a payment to. I'm just going to switch here to a different account or a different organization within the Chimoney dashboard. I mean, I have access to all of those because I'm an admin to them. But so when I click send, now, it's going to take me to the send screen, right? And keep in mind that I already copied the payment pointer, my own personal payment pointer. I'm currently in an organization, a different organization different from my personal account, right? So when I click send to ILP wallet, I would enter that wallet address. I can also like enter a couple more wallet addresses here. Okay, so these are just a few wallet addresses that were set up already. So, and then I'll select the amount, say $10. And when I do that, it tells me how much I'm sending. I'm sending $10 to 6 people. I can also enter like a personalized message, which they will get in their email address. But for this use case, I'm not really going to do that. So when I click pay from wallet, okay, yeah. So the use case we're trying to demonstrate is like bulk send to wallet addresses. And like I mentioned, this is useful for grant payments, right? So if I wanted to send different amount to different people, I can also customize it here and just change the amount. So I'm just going to send I'm just going to send myself $1. So I can customize it and I can save. And then it does I think it should do the calculation again. So anyway, so yeah, so $10 to everyone. When I click pay from wallet here, it's gonna process this transaction. So it sets it up on the Chimoney side of things, and then it does. I'm not really going to go into detail about how like it's working on the Interledger side, but it sets it up on the Chimoney side of things. It debits my account, and then on the Interledger side of things, a payment is also sent and settled. So let's just wait for this to complete. I'm not sure why it's slow today, but okay. So that payment has been sent, and notice that it says it's paid now. So, but in a few seconds, you will notice that these are going to start changing to redeemed. That means it's settled into the Interledger wallet. So let's just give it a few seconds, and you see it change in real time to redeemed instead of paid. Okay, so the first one has been deposited into the wallet, right? So that's to my personal Interledger. That's to my personal account on Chimoney. So it's completed. The settlement is complete now. And if we go back, we're going to switch back to that account in a bit. So the second one is also being settled to the wallet there, and others would just be settled to the wallet. Yeah, so they are being settled to the wallets. Okay, so that's kind of how to send bulk payments, right? So if I go back to my personal wallet, it was $50-something before. The balance was $50-something before. Now it's $60-something, and notice that this is like the payment that I received onto this wallet here, right? So that's kind of how to send bulk payment. And like I mentioned before, this can be useful for paying out grants and also paying out paying out grants and stuff like that. So I'm going to pause for a bit to see if anyone has any thoughts or questions. Okay, awesome. So I'm going to switch back to the second demo, which is sending payments to a wallet address using the Chimoney API. So I have access to the Chimoney API here. API docs is chimoney.readme.io. I'll go to payouts. When I go to payouts, I would click on payouts to an Interledger wallet address. So when I do that, I would go to the chat. I see Sabina already has her Chimoney payment pointer in the chat, so I'll just copy that. So I would enter Sabina's payment pointer, and then I'll enter 20, and then I'll go back here just to confirm that the API keys are correct. And then if we go back to the dashboard, Actually, let me make it a different amount so it's clear. So I'll make it 11. And then I'll go back to this account here. So the last transaction we sent here was $10, right? Which is, I guess someone else just sent a transaction now from this account, bio. But the last transaction we sent was like $10 each. So what we're going to do is we're sending an ILP payment via API to Samina's Chimoney Interledger payment pointer. So just making sure everything looks good. I'm sending $11, and then I'll click try now. So this should initiate a new payment. This should initiate a new payment here in just 1 second. Okay. So it's going to initiate a new payment, and also just like before, that payment will settle in Samina's account. Okay. So let me go back here. So I'm going to go so I'll see all of the transactions, not just the ones from the dashboard. Okay, so just a moment. I'm probably using a different account for this, a different API key for this transaction here. So potentially I would just get this actual API key. Solution. Okay. Dashboard. Okay, so I'll just
Uchi, I got it.
Oh, you got it. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. Amazing. So yeah, the payment has been sent and is settled in Samina's Interledger wallet. And now what Sabina can do is that she has like a balance in her Chimoney account. She can send that money to an email. She can send it to someone's phone number or to a different user's Interledger wallet. And when that payment is sent, the user has the option to then cash it out to a bank account, right? So like in this, like in a case like this, I'll just like, so this is kind of how, so if I go back there, so this is what the person, when a payment is sent on Chimoney platform, the receiver has the option to then cash it out to like their bank account across multiple countries or to an Interledger wallet address if they wanted, or they have to airtime and stuff like that. So that's the second example. The last thing we want to do is how you can get a Chimoney payment pointer. So it's sorry. So to get a Chimoney payment pointer, you go to dash.chimoney.io. I'll drop this link after this. So that's your Chimoney.io, and then you log in. After you log in, you'll be taken to like this identity management page, and then you complete your profile. After you complete your profile, you'll be able to create a payment pointer, and then you can see how that payment pointer looks like on a public page, which you can share to folks to pay you and stuff like that. Okay, so that's it. The last thing on my list was how to get started. I know some of you might be asking or wondering how you can integrate or play with this. Well, we have a sandbox environment that allows you to play with everything I just shared. So you can create a new wallet. When you create a new wallet, you will be able to do a test payment to a payment pointer. You can create a new payment pointer via the API or a dashboard and stuff like that. And in terms of roadmap, what's next? So we already integrated Rafiki on the Chimoney side we have been able to also launch in alpha, and we have over, I believe, 120 payment pointers have been created so far on the Chimoney. So yeah, 120 payment pointers have been created. So the next step is we want to pair with a licensed Interledger entity, so Fynbos or GitHub, and also we're going to explore follow-on work that we'll do as part of the financial services grant that we received. And the next step is like the potential of this, right? So Chimoney as an infrastructure is already used by a couple of companies. So like Scream by Chimoney, Goodwall, Honeycoin, and other companies already use us today. So they use our wallet as a service. What we haven't promoted to them is the ability for them to also issue payment pointers to their users. So imagine any user that uses Chimoney's API to build would be able to issue Interledger payment pointers also to their users. So that's kind of the impact is could be really huge, because it's not just like Chimoney using it, but others using it. And then in December, we want to be able to like add more currencies and payout options. Yeah, so that's the roadmap that we have. And I would add this link in the meeting notes for those that have thoughts or feedback or want to review this later. So I'll pause here for a bit to take any.
Just amazing work, Uchi. So much progress, so much excitement, so much, just things working, right? So you've been getting a lot of accolades in the chat and the steady stream of emojis and icons, as you can see on your screen. I am going to open up. We had a little bit of commentary in the chat, but I do want to open up the mic to see if anyone wants to ask a question or do a follow-up. This is a lot of information, so, and I know that we've had a little bit, so I might call on some folks that already put a question in chat, or just go ahead and jump on the mic and engage with Uchi.
Uchi, it's Adam here. Are there fees for the ILP transactions, like that bulk transactions? Are there any fees for that?
No, at the moment there are no fees for it. The way we set up Rafiki is we set it up with no fees for transfers, specifically between Chimoney to Chimoney wallets. I think once we integrate with different other licensed entities, there might be like a small fee depending on how the entity set up their own Rafiki, but the fees will be really small.
That's amazing. And then just as a follow-up question, would there be like a minimum amount? Could I send 10 cents to 100 people?
Mm-hmm. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. There's no limit. There's no minimum amount, and there's no like limit in the number of people you can send it to. The part where there might be limit is the users being able to then cash out those amounts to like their bank account and things like that. Yes, they will have the funds in their Chimoney wallet, but maybe for them to cash out to their bank account or to their mobile money wallet or to gift cards, they would need at least $3 to be able to cash out.
That is all amazing. Thank you, Richie.
Yeah, thanks, Adam.
Question about like what about if I have a Fynbos ILP wallet instead? Because I think something that a lot of people in the community haven't heard about is what is going to be necessary for account servicing entities to actually interface with each other. So I'm curious if you could talk about like what is actually involved with adding support for a wallet, an ILP wallet with another provider.
Yeah, awesome. So yeah, thanks, Jeremy. So we started the conversation with GitHub. From the GitHub side of things, the last time we spoke at the summit, it was mostly conversations between our compliance teams. So once we finalize those conversations, the technical side to make this happen, it's already working on with Rafiki. So compliance plus operational side, and that settlement. That's the two parts that are still pending. I think potentially we might bring Alex on board also to help like facilitate some of those conversations. And then for Fynbos, also, I'll speak. I've not scheduled a call with Adrian yet, but I think that's something that we should do, because from a technical side and compliance side, at least from a regulatory requirements side, Chimoney has everything that we need to be able to like facilitate these payments. I think it's just like conversations we need to have and make it happen. Alex, you wanted to jump on?
Yeah, so I want to say the technical aspect of it in Rafiki, connecting to another wallet with a single line of config. The peering relationship is a single line of config. The problem is, as Suchi says, is compliance. Because to connect to another wallet, it's not just a technical problem. We solve the technical problem. That's the easy part. The hard part is signing a piece of paper that governs the way you connect to the other wallet. Codifying that in Rafiki, that's already there. And from what we've experienced, the compliance part of connecting to another wallet is the one that takes a lot of time, which is probably been into the compliance wheel with GitHub for a while. But I feel like if you want a compliance horror story, Adrian is the best person to talk to about that. Even when both of the parties want to get this done as soon as possible, it's just a matter of a couple of compliance teams, usually 3 compliance teams at least, agreeing on a set of terms.
Yeah, I agree with Alex. Yes. Okay, so Jeremy has other questions on the chat. So account service and entity.
I'm laughing at Mohammed's comment. Compliance horror stories might be its own track in the next ILP summit.
Yeah.
Thanks for Mohammed for providing the early year laugh, and probably a smart idea, a combo, funny and right. Can never go wrong with that combo. Anybody else want to open up their mic and give some feedback or ask a question to Uchi? All right. Well, thank you so much, Uchi. The document is definitely there. So if you want to go deeper or follow up, you can tag Uchi in that document, and he'll go and check it out as our running record. And of course, we'll be Uchi's a regular participant in this meeting anyway, but then also check in when they have updates, especially as we start to connect these services, so that they do talk and play with each other nicely as we all continue to progress. Well, with that, I think that brings us to the end of our agenda. Unless anyone has any quick announcements or shout outs they want to open up their mic and just update the community on, I'll hold for 20 seconds. All right. Well,
yeah. Can you hear me?
Go for it. Yep.
Yeah, sorry, my mic was muted for a bit there. So yeah, I'm from the Chimoney team, right? And I just want to say, well done to Uchi and the product team, because I know this has taken a lot of work, right? Over the past couple of months, they've done a lot of things. And we've been seeing the updates in the meetings, like the team meetings and all that. So yeah, well done to Uchi and the product team. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks, Vali, for saying that. I appreciate it.
All right. With that, we will see you in a month. We'll be distributing the video and the audio of this in our regular channels. And of course, our meeting doc is a running doc. If you can see any meeting since we began that doc, and the details there. So it's a good thing to bookmark, to go back to if you wanted to remember something or follow up on something. So there's that. And as always, join us on the Slack. It's the Interledger Community Slack is a vibrant place. It's a great place to interact, bring topics up, find questions, find peers, etc. So that'd be my one Interledger plug for today's session. And with that, we will see you all on the interwebs and in a month, and continuing to expand financial inclusion together.